Well, it's wonderful to be here. We'd like to thank Nia and Steve of, I'm going to mispronounce this word, Gelynion, and Nikki Morgan of Wales Arts International for having us. And Rhian and I met for the first time in October in Bombay, and we're part of this very, very interesting and intriguing exchange between India and Wales, and there are many of us present, and you'll hear some of us. And it's been actually a wonderful experience to connect across all kinds of differences, and to discover that we had motifs or concerns or urgencies in common in writing that was otherwise quite distinct. So we decided we'd work in a form that in a certain kind of Indian classical music is called jugalbandi, which is a twinning, when two musicians work with each other in the form of question and answer or responses to each other's work. And it's in that spirit that we'll present our work today. I think you go first.
Ranjit and I showed an obsession for houses, I think largely because I'm a estate agent's daughter and because he's interested in architecture. So we definitely came from two different perspectives there. The first poem I'm going to do is called Pinchbeck, which is a type of fool's gold. Was inspired by when two people have been living together and one person leaves and the other person tries to preserve that house in the way that it was when that person was there, and somehow it will always alter and it will always nudge into something else. Pinchbeck. The house is a counterfeit of itself. The kitchen keeps scouring its surfaces, and the crockery is forever getting soiled and plunging in and out of the basin. Different tea bags press against the window of the jar. The basement study has let itself go. It got into a scrap with your papers and left the drawers gasping for air. You can't blame it, really, what with only a slit of garden to look at. It's a wonder a word was ever penned here. Your bedroom has lost its bottles. Her smell got into everything. There are no trinkets scattered round the mirror, no face powder dusting the wood. Her hanging rail has been picked to the bones and wears only the white wall behind it.
This one's called The Empire of Lights, and it's a response to a painting, or three paintings that many of you will know. It's a theme that Magritte returned to many times in his career. It also is about what really is a house, and how real and how stable is it. The Empire of Lights, after Magritte. This house has not moved a brick since midnight. Outside the front door, the street lamp has brushed the cobblestones with a moss of delay. The night glows in a yawn between darkness and day. The street flows on, soaking the canal with brittle after images of rain. The bats that have chased butterflies of meaning up the crescendos of trees all night are drowsing in their green and icy silhouettes. The mic is getting as surreal as Magritte, but anyway, maybe I should just try this again. This house has not moved a brick since midnight. Outside the front door, the street lamp has brushed the cobblestones with a moss of delay. The night glows in a yawn between darkness and day. The street flows on, soaking the canal with brittle after images of rain. The bats that have chased butterflies of meaning up the crescendos of trees all night are drowsing in their green and icy silhouettes. It is night here still, it will always be night. This street is wound up tight to strike at 3 a.m. and hiss a breath of doubt into waxy clouds that are talking softly about the ninja maestro who bled the clock dry. They remember the day he parted the curtains and broke the windows with his flame-colored hands. They are whispering about the jacarandas that he drowned in the sky beneath the house, that has not moved a brick since midnight, and how well cotton burns at noon.
This next poem, we both have cafe poems. I think most writers have cafe poems. This poem formed something that I called dead couple scrolls, I suppose. And I think you can always spy a dead relationship, especially in a restaurant. This poem is called Hitched, and it goes like this. Oh, sorry. Technical difficulties. Happens to me all the time. Hitched. Violent tiredness has stripped our mouths down to skeletal talk and a grimacing silence. Tongues that once swaggered with muscles of mirth now flap at the table, starved of all rapture. In a bootless attempt to replenish lost joys, you pluck from the napkin a tale for the telling. With a flurry of arm wags and a plasticine face, you spill all the beans for a flicker of awe. I dispatch a dim smile and spy on the gossips as the swelling dead air rots the menus between us.
This one's called Lunch at Britannia. And I should maybe just explain that there's an institution in Bombay called the Irani Cafe. These are restaurants that were established by immigrants from Persia in the early 20th century. And they were for a long time centers really for public discussion, casual meetings, intellectuals, if you will, could spend a lot of time there and so on and so forth, but this is vanishing now. And this particular place is for many of us, been a great favorite cafe. So Lunch at Britannia. I missed you by minutes at the restaurant. It might have been your table just vacated that the waiter gave me, with its plate of berry pulao half-eaten and bottle of raspberry untouched, still sparkling, a nature morte titled Diner Called Away, Chardin with a dash of hopper, Morandi on the side, a tableau painted by the crater of emergency that makes a long-playing Pompeii of our works and days. Is this a joke on me, the man who turned up late? Or purest blasphemy, your immortal soul in peril, accused by an empty chair? You've defied this supreme commandment of Café Britannia, engraved on the menu in caps. There is no love greater than the love of eating. That love, like its more elegant twin, the heart's appetite, shall prevail. Hades' cupbearers resolve themselves into waiters with checked tablecloths marching in legions of order restored. They empty the remains from ashtrays and volcanoes, clear away the relics of bay leaf and fishbone. Stooped at his counter, Mr. Kohinoor smiles. At Britannia, there's life after still life. The table is cleared and laid again. With a fresh knife and fork and a fresh order, I complete your unfinished genre piece. Thank you for your attention.